Lina Chen died quietly. There was no dramatic accident, no one calling her name, no last words spoken to anyone. She simply leaned back in her office chair at 3:47 in the morning, eyes burning from staring at numbers for too long, chest tight like someone had tied a rope around her heart. The office lights were still on. The document on her screen carried Eva Chen's name at the top. Again. Lina smiled faintly, a tired, self-mocking curve of her lips. Finished, she whispered to the empty room. This project had taken 3 weeks. 3 weeks of sleeping on the office couch, skipping meals, drinking coffee until her hands shook. Eva had shown up twice, once to complain, once to cry. Both times, Lina had quietly taken over. Because that was her role. She was the replacement. From childhood to adulthood, Lina had always been the one standing behind Eva, fixing things Eva broke, giving up what Eva wanted. If Eva was sick, Lina stayed home. If Eva failed, Lina worked harder. If Eva wanted praise, Lina stepped back. Their family said it was natural. Eva is delicate, her aunt would say gently. You're strong, Lina, her brother Mark would add. You can handle it. So Lina handled everything. She handled missed birthdays, lost chances, and dreams folded neatly and put away. She handled blame when things went wrong and silence when things went right. She handled it until her body finally refused. A sharp pain cut through her chest. Lina's fingers slipped off the mouse. The screen blurred. For a brief second, she wondered if anyone would notice she was gone before morning. Probably not, she thought. Eva would present the project. The clients would applaud. The family would smile proudly. And Lina's desk would be cleared by someone else. As darkness closed in, Lina's last thought was soft and regretful. If I could live again, I wouldn't do this anymore. Lina woke up gasping. She sat up so fast her head spun. Sunlight poured through familiar curtains, warm and unreal. Her heart pounded violently, not with pain, but with shock. She was in her old bedroom. The pale blue walls. The desk by the window. The calendar on the wall. 5 years ago. Her phone buzzed on the bed. A message popped up. Eva. Lina, I can't go to the meeting today. You go for me, okay? You're better at explaining anyway. Lina stared at the screen. Her hands trembled. Memories rushed in like a flood. This day, this message, this exact moment. In her first life, she had agreed without hesitation. She had worn Eva's suit, used Eva's presentation, and accepted Eva's pressure like it was her duty. That meeting had been the beginning of everything. Her overwork. Her invisibility. Her death. Lina slowly lowered the phone. The room felt too quiet. Too alive. I'm alive, she whispered. She pressed a hand to her chest. A strong, steady heartbeat answered her. No pain. No crushing weight. Just breath. Just warmth. Tears slid down her face without warning. Not from happiness. From anger. I really died like that, she thought. Worked myself to death. And no one even noticed. Her tears stopped. Lina wiped her face and looked at her reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back at her was younger, eyes still soft, shoulders not yet bent by exhaustion. But something inside her eyes had changed. Her phone buzzed again. Aunt. Lina, don't be late. Eva is counting on you. Counting on you. In her first life, those words had been a chain. This time, Lina felt something snap. She typed slowly, calmly. Lina. I won't go. The typing bubble appeared instantly. Eva. What do you mean? Lina, stop joking. You always help me. Lina read the message, then turned the phone face down. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from something sharp and unfamiliar. Relief. I won't, she said aloud, voice steady. Not this time. She stood up, changed into her own clothes, and tied her hair neatly. Each movement felt like reclaiming something she had lost. This life was hers. No more replacements. No more sacrifices without names. No more dying quietly in someone else's shadow. As Lina picked up her bag, her lips curved into a small, determined smile. This time, she promised herself, I live for me. And somewhere in the city, the choices she refused today would begin changing everything. Lina arrived at the company lobby 10 minutes early. In her first life, she would have rushed in breathless, clutching Eva's files, already rehearsing excuses for Eva's absence. Today, she walked in calmly, wearing a simple white blouse and black trousers, nothing borrowed, nothing pretending to be someone else. The receptionist looked up, surprised. "Miss Chen? You're early." Lina smiled politely. "I have an appointment with HR." The receptionist blinked. HR? Yes. That alone felt like a small rebellion. Upstairs, the conference room was already buzzing. Managers whispered among themselves, laptops open, waiting. The seat with Eva Chen's nameplate sat empty at the center of the table. As expected, a senior manager frowned when he saw Lina enter alone. "Where's Eva?" Lina met his gaze steadily. In her first life, her heart would have started racing by now. She would have panicked, apologized, explained, covered. This time, her inner voice was clear. "You don't owe anyone your life." "She won't be attending," Lina said evenly. "And I won't be presenting in her place." The room fell silent. Someone laughed awkwardly, thinking it was a joke. "Lina, don't play around. You always." "I always what?" Lina interrupted gently. Her tone was calm, but firm. "Always replace her? Always clean up after her?" The senior manager's expression darkened. "Do you know how important this meeting is?" "Yes," Lina replied. "That's why the responsible person should attend." With that, she turned and walked out. Her legs felt light, almost unreal, as if she were floating. The moment the conference room doors closed behind her, Lina leaned against the wall and let out a long breath. "I did it," she thought. "I really did it." Her phone buzzed violently in her hand. Eva calling. Lina declined. The phone rang again. And again. Finally, a message came through. "Eva, are you crazy? Everyone is waiting. Lina, if you ruin this for me." Lina didn't read the rest. She locked the phone. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, Eva's panic was not her responsibility. The storm broke that evening at the Chen family home. Lina had barely stepped inside when her aunt's voice rose sharply. "Lina, what nonsense did you pull today?" Mark stood by the sofa, brows furrowed. Eva sat beside him, eyes red, shoulders trembling like a wounded bird. In her first life, this scene had ended with Lina apologizing. This time, she walked in and sat down. Calmly. "Aunt," Lina said, "I didn't pull nonsense. I made a choice." Eva burst into tears. "Choice? I told you I wasn't feeling well. You know how much pressure I'm under." Mark looked conflicted. "Lina, you could have helped her just this once." Lina looked at her brother. Really looked at him. In her first life, she had trusted him blindly. He had been her anchor, her excuse for enduring everything. Now she saw it clearly. He had never meant to hurt her, but he had also never protected her. "Mark," she said softly, "how many times is just this once?" The room went quiet. Her aunt's lips tightened. "Don't be dramatic. Eva needs support. You're stronger." There it was. That familiar sentence. Lina smiled faintly. Not bitterly. Not angrily. Just finished. "That's exactly why I'm stopping," she said. "Because I'm strong enough to say no." Eva stared at her in disbelief, tears forgotten. "You're jealous, aren't you? You think acting strange will make people notice you." Lina stood up. "No," she said. "I'm not jealous. I'm tired." She picked up her bag and turned toward the door. Mark called after her. "Where are you going?" Lina paused, then answered without looking back. "Somewhere I don't have to disappear." 2 days later, Lina received an unexpected email. Sender: Lu Group Headquarters. Subject: Project Discussion. Attendance required. Her fingers froze over the keyboard. Lu Group. In her first life, this name had been distant, untouchable. A corporate giant. And at its center, Ryan Lu, the youngest CEO in the industry. Known for ruthless standards and zero tolerance for incompetence. In her previous life, Lina had only seen him once, from afar, standing beside Eva while Eva accepted praise Lina had earned. Her chest tightened. Why now? She wondered. The meeting room at Lu Group was quiet, minimalist, Intimidating. Lina sat straight-backed, hands folded, reminding herself to breathe. The door opened. Ryan Liu walked in. He was tall, dressed simply in a dark suit, eyes sharp and unreadable. He glanced around the room. Then his gaze landed on Lina. He paused. Just for a second. Chen Lina, he said, reading her name from the file. His voice was calm, cool. You're not the one listed as project lead. Lina met his eyes. No, she replied honestly. But I'm the one who understands the project best. The air shifted. Ryan studied her quietly, as if peeling back layers. There was no warmth in his gaze, but there was interest. Then explain, he said, pulling out a chair. From the beginning. As Lina began to speak, something settled inside her. She wasn't filling in. She wasn't replacing anyone. She was standing here as herself. And for the first time, someone important was actually listening. Lina spoke for 40 minutes. She explained the project structure, the risks that had been deliberately ignored, the data inconsistencies no one had dared to point out. Her voice never shook. Every sentence was clear, steady, backed by numbers she knew by heart. Across the table, Ryan Liu didn't interrupt once. He leaned back slightly, fingers resting against his chin, eyes fixed on her. Not on the slides, not on the report, but on her. As Lina talked, he noticed things others wouldn't. How she paused before difficult points, how she never exaggerated her achievements, how she said, "we," when referring to the team but "I" when admitting responsibility. When she finished, the room was silent. Ryan closed the file slowly. This plan, he said, was not written by someone filling in. Lina met his gaze. No. It was written by someone prepared to take responsibility. Yes. A faint curve appeared at the corner of Ryan's lips. Not a smile, but acknowledgement. From today on, he said calmly, this project will report directly to me. And you will be the primary contact. The assistant beside him froze. Mr. Liu, the name registered is Eva Chen. Ryan's gaze sharpened. I don't use substitutes, he said. I choose people. The words landed heavily in Lina's chest. She nodded. I won't disappoint you. I don't expect loyalty, Ryan replied. I expect results. That was enough. News spread fast. By afternoon, the Chen family group chat was exploding. Aunt, Lina, what did you do at Liu Group? Why are they bypassing Eva? Eva, you went behind my back. Lina muted the chat. At work, people started looking at her differently. Some curious. Some cautious. Some quietly impressed. For the first time, no one asked her to help Eva. Eva, on the other hand, stormed into the office the next day. She slammed her bag onto Lina's desk. You think stealing my project will make you important? Lina looked up slowly. It was never yours. Eva laughed sharply. Do you know how this makes me look? Lina stood. Like yourself, she said calmly. For once. Eva's smile cracked. You'll regret this. Ryan Liu doesn't keep useless people. Lina's gaze didn't waver. Then I'll stay useful. Eva left, heels clicking furiously down the hall. Lina sat back down, hands trembling slightly now that the confrontation was over. So this is what standing up feels like, she thought. Scary, but free. That night, Lina worked late, but not because she was forced. Ryan passed by her office around 11. The lights were still on. He stopped at the doorway. You should go home. I will, Lina replied, saving her file. In 10 minutes. Ryan raised an eyebrow. You don't strike me as someone who wastes time. I don't anymore. He paused, studying her face. There was exhaustion there, but not the hollow kind. This was the tiredness of someone building, not burning. Good, he said. I dislike people who sacrifice themselves for appearances. Lina smiled faintly. So do I. Ryan nodded once and left. Lina watched his retreating figure, heart oddly steady. In her first life, she had worked herself into the ground for people who never noticed. This time, someone saw her and told her to stop. The cracks in Eva's world began quietly. During a midweek audit, inconsistencies surfaced. Numbers Eva couldn't explain. Decisions she couldn't justify. Meetings she claimed to attend but couldn't describe. When questioned, Eva's first reaction was panic. Her second was blame. This was all Lina's work, she insisted. She handled most of it. The auditor looked confused. But according to Lu Group records, Miss Lina Chen is the responsible party, and her data aligns perfectly. Eva froze. For the first time, her lies didn't land. At home, Mark finally noticed something was wrong. He watched Lina cook dinner, movements calm, expression light in a way he hadn't seen in years. "You've changed," he said quietly. Lina didn't deny it. "I had to." Mark hesitated. "Did we pressure you too much before?" Lina looked at him. This was the brother she had protected, covered for, trusted. In her first life, she would have laughed it off. This time, she chose honesty. "Yes," she said. "You did." Mark swallowed. "I didn't know." "I know," Lina replied softly. "That doesn't mean it didn't hurt." The words stayed with him long after she left the room. A week later, Ryan summoned Lina again. This time, it wasn't about work. "I reviewed your background," he said. "Your resume doesn't reflect your ability." Lina nodded. "I let it happen." "Why?" She thought for a moment. "Because I believed I was replaceable." Ryan's eyes darkened. "No one is," he said. "If they are, they don't belong here." He slid a new contract across the table. "Stay," he said. "Not as a substitute. As my choice." Lina looked at the paper. Then at him. And for the first time since her rebirth, her eyes warmed. Not with gratitude, but with certainty. "I will," she said. Outside the window, the city lights shimmered. Eva's mask was cracking. Mark's regret was growing. And Lina, finally, was irreplaceable. The audit report landed on the table like a verdict. Eva stared at the documents, lips pale, fingers digging into the edge of the desk. The numbers were clear. Too clear. Projects she had claimed credit for showed a pattern. Identical writing styles, identical decision logic, identical late-night timestamps. All of them traced back to one person. Lina Chen. "This is impossible," Eva said sharply. "Someone must have altered the records." The auditor didn't even look up. "The system logs can't be altered without leaving traces." "We checked." Silence followed. Across the room, Lina stood quietly, hands clasped. She hadn't pushed for this audit. She hadn't demanded exposure. She had simply done her job, cleanly, transparently, under her own name. Truth had done the rest. Ryan Liu closed the folder and spoke calmly. "Eva Chen, you claimed primary responsibility for 3 projects you did not execute." Eva's eyes flicked toward Lina, sharp with resentment. "She forced me into it. She insisted on helping." Lina finally spoke. "I never insisted. I was told." Her voice was steady. No accusation. No anger. Just fact. Ryan turned to Eva. "Do you have anything else to say?" Eva's control snapped. "Why do you believe her?" she cried. "She's always been good at pretending. She's been jealous of me since we were kids." The words echoed in the room. Lina didn't flinch. "I was never jealous," she said softly. "I was tired." Ryan stood. "This meeting is over." Eva was suspended pending investigation. As security escorted her out, Eva twisted back, eyes burning. "Don't think this is the end, Lina. They'll get tired of you too." Lina watched her go, heart strangely calm. So this is what it looks like when you stop protecting someone who never protected you, she thought. That evening, the Chen family gathered for dinner. It was supposed to be a talk. Eva sat stiffly, eyes red but dry. Their aunt looked strained, forcing smiles that didn't quite hold. Mark sat across from Lina, unusually quiet. Halfway through the meal, the aunt cleared her throat. "Lina, about what happened at work." Lina put down her chopsticks. "Yes. You should have warned us," her aunt said. "Eva is under a lot of pressure." Lina nodded. "So was I. 4 years." Eva scoffed. "Don't act like a victim now. You enjoyed taking my place." Mark slammed his chopsticks down. "Enough." Everyone froze. He looked at Eva. "You said Lina volunteered every time." You said she liked it. Eva's face twisted. Because she never complained. Mark turned to Lina, voice hoarse. Is that true? Lina met his eyes. I complained, she said quietly. You just never heard me. The room fell into heavy silence. Their aunt looked away. Mark's chest tightened. Memories surfaced. Lina staying up late, Lina missing school events, Lina always saying, it's fine. He had believed her. Because it was easier. I'm sorry, he said suddenly. The words shocked everyone, including Lina. I should have looked closer, Mark continued. I should have stood up for you. Lina didn't respond right away. I'm not asking you to choose sides, she said finally. I'm just choosing mine. She stood, bowed politely, and left. Behind her, Eva's carefully built image crumbled piece by piece. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. Eva didn't come home. Rumors spread quickly online, about falsified credits, about internal investigations, about Lu Group's zero-tolerance policies. Some blamed Lina. Some praised her. Lina ignored all of it. She focused on her work, her health, her breathing. Ryan noticed. You're not celebrating, he said during a late meeting. There's nothing to celebrate, Lina replied. I didn't win. I just stopped losing. Ryan studied her, then nodded. That's healthier. One evening, Lina received an unexpected visitor. Mark stood outside her apartment, holding a small bag of groceries, looking unsure for the first time in his life. I didn't know what you like now, he admitted. But I remembered you used to love soup. Lina stepped aside. Come in. They ate quietly. After a while, Mark spoke. I defended Eva because I thought you didn't mind. Lina looked at him. Why didn't you ask? Mark swallowed. Because I was afraid you'd say you were hurting. The honesty stung more than any excuse. Lina sighed. I was. Mark's eyes reddened. I won't let that happen again. Lina didn't promise forgiveness. But she didn't push him away either. That was progress. Across the city, Eva sat alone in a dark apartment, phone glowing in her hand as rejection emails stacked up. For the first time, no one rushed in to save her. She finally understood something she never had before. Lina hadn't stolen her life. Lina had simply stopped lending it. And that realization burned deeper than any punishment. As Lina stood by her window that night, city lights reflecting in her eyes, she felt something unfamiliar settle in her chest. Peace. The storm had passed. What remained was healing. Slow, quiet, and finally her own. Mark started paying attention. Not in loud, dramatic ways, but in the small, uncomfortable moments he had ignored before. He noticed how Lina left work on time now, how she ate regular meals, how she no longer flinched when her phone buzzed late at night. He noticed the quiet confidence in her steps, the way her eyes no longer searched the room for permission. And the more he noticed, the heavier his regret became. One night, Mark sat alone in his car, engine off, memories replaying like punishment. Lina at 17, giving up a scholarship because Eva wasn't ready to be alone. Lina at 22, working overtime while Mark told her to hold on a little longer. Lina smiling and saying, it's okay. He finally understood. It had never been okay. Mark asked Lina to meet him on a Sunday morning. No family. No excuses. Just the two of them. They sat at a small cafe near the river. Sunlight filtered through the windows, soft and honest. I'm not here to explain, Mark said after a long silence. I'm here to apologize. Lina stirred her tea slowly. She didn't rush him. I failed you, he continued. As your brother. Her hand paused. You trusted me, Mark said, voice thick. And I used that trust to stay comfortable. Lina looked up. In her first life, she had dreamed of this moment. An apology. Recognition. Someone finally saying, I see you. Now that it was here, it didn't feel triumphant. It felt quiet. Mark, she said gently, do you know why I never blamed you? He shook his head. Because I chose it too, Lina said. I chose silence because I was afraid of losing you. Mark's eyes filled. You won't lose me now. Lina smiled faintly. That depends on what you do next. Mark nodded firmly. Then watch me. He started with actions. When their aunt complained about Lina's coldness, Mark shut it down. When Eva tried to contact Lina through him, Mark refused. When the family suggested Lina should help smooth things over at work, Mark said, "She doesn't owe anyone that." For the first time, Lina didn't have to protect herself alone. Trust, real trust, began to rebuild. Slowly. At Lu Group, Lina was promoted. Not announced loudly. No ceremony. Just a quiet email from HR and a new nameplate on her door. Strategy Director. Lina Chen. Ryan stopped by that evening. "You earned it," he said simply. Lina smiled. "Thank you for giving me space." Ryan shook his head. "I didn't give you space. I recognized it." There was a pause. "You're different lately," he added. "Lighter." Lina considered that. "I stopped carrying what wasn't mine." Ryan's gaze softened. "Good. I won't ask you to carry anything extra." The words settled between them. Gentle. Intentional. Safe. Eva's fall became public. An official notice confirmed misconduct. Partnerships cut ties. Invitations disappeared. The praise she once lived on vanished overnight. She tried to fight it. Tried to post explanations. Tears. Justifications. No one listened. One rainy afternoon, Eva finally stood outside Lina's building. Lina opened the door and froze. Eva looked smaller somehow. No makeup. No confidence. Just anger barely holding back fear. "You think you won?" Eva asked bitterly. Lina shook her head. "No." Eva laughed harshly. "Then why does everything feel like it's gone?" Lina met her gaze steadily. "Because you never built it yourself." The words hit harder than any insult. Eva turned away. That was the last time Lina saw her. That night, Lina sat on her balcony, wrapped in a light blanket. The city hummed below, alive and indifferent. Ryan called. "You're still at the office?" she asked. "No," he replied. "I was thinking about you." Her heart skipped. Not painfully, not desperately. Just warm. "I don't want to rush you," Ryan said. "Or place expectations on you." Lina leaned back, eyes closing. "Then don't." A soft laugh came through the line. "I won't," he said. "I'll just be here." When the call ended, Lina looked up at the sky. For the first time in both lives, love didn't feel like a transaction or a reward. It felt like a choice. And this time, it was hers to make. The morning Lina submitted her resignation to the Chen family company, the sky was clear. No thunder. No dramatic signs. Just sunlight spilling across her desk as she signed her name, her own name, at the bottom of the document. In her first life, leaving would have felt like betrayal. In this life it felt like closure. Her aunt read the letter twice, lips trembling. "You're really leaving?" "Yes," Lina replied calmly. "I need to move forward." "And the family?" her aunt asked, voice tight. Lina smiled politely. "I am still your niece. I'm just no longer your substitute." No one argued. For once, they had nothing to stand on. Mark drove Lina to Lu Group that day. At the traffic light, he glanced at her. "Are you nervous?" Lina shook her head. "I'm ready." Mark smiled. Proud, not protective. "Then I'll stop worrying." She reached out and squeezed his hand briefly. "Thank you for choosing me back." Mark swallowed and nodded. Extreme trust didn't return all at once. But it had returned honestly. Lu Group's executive floor was quiet. Ryan was waiting. "You didn't have to resign completely," he said as Lina entered. "I know," she replied. "But I wanted to." He studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Then welcome." He handed her a slim folder. Inside was a new agreement. Strategic partner. Lina Chen. Equal authority. Independent decision-making. No hidden conditions. "You're not working for me," Ryan said. "You're working with me." Lina looked up, eyes shining, but steady. "This time," she said, "I won't disappear." Ryan's voice softened. "I wouldn't allow it." The Chen family invited Lina for one last dinner. This time, no accusations. No expectations. Just quiet regret. Her aunt spoke first. We failed you. Lina nodded. Yes. No anger. No comfort. Just truth. I won't pretend it didn't hurt, Lina continued. But I don't want to carry it anymore. Mark raised his glass. To Lina. For living her own life. They followed. Lina drank. Not to forgive, but to let go. That was enough. Spring came gently. Lina's days filled with work she loved, boundaries she protected, and a man who never asked her to be smaller. Ryan didn't rush. He walked beside her. One evening, after a long meeting, they stood by the office window, city lights glowing below. Lina, Ryan said, I don't need you. She turned, surprised. I want you, he corrected. There's a difference. Her breath caught. In her first life, love had been something she earned. Now it was something offered. She smiled. Then I choose you too. Ryan reached for her hand. Not claiming, not possessive. Just present. Months later, Lina visited the old office building where she had once died. The lights were off. The desk gone. She stood there for a moment, then whispered softly. Thank you for surviving long enough to let me live again. She turned and walked away. No more shadows. No more replacements. Just Lina Chen. Chosen, trusted, and finally free.